Hey, what's up, guys? English Dave here for another Nerdy Bunch review. Today, we're here to talk about the new Netflix movie, Project Power, starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Dominic Fishback, and Jamie Foxx. My name is English Dave. I'm here with my co-hosts Mercedes and Rocket Mike. What's up, guys?
What's up?
Like I said, we're here to talk about Project Power. It's currently out on Netflix. The synopsis is as follows. When a pill that gives its users unpredictable superpowers for 5 minutes hits the streets of New Orleans, a teenage dealer and a local cop must team up with an ex-soldier to take down the group's responsible for its creation. This is directed by Henry Joost and Ariel Schulman. This movie, we'll talk no spoilers, of course, here. I'll start with you, Mike. What were your expectations going in to this film?
It looked really exciting. It's, it looked like a combination of X-Men meets Limitless, like where it's just like like some kind of power pill that'll just bring out the best in you. But this time it's, unique abilities the same way as the X-Men does. So I was like, oh, that's really exciting. And it's like, it's limited, so it's only 5 minutes at a time. Who doesn't love Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Jamie Foxx? I don't think I've ever seen them together before. So, like, potentially, with the previews and everything. In fact, I tried not to watch the entire preview. I felt like halfway, I got the idea. I felt like they were going on, giving me too much. I'm like, no, I got it. You just tell me, power pill, 5 minutes, I'm good.
Right.
But so I don't watch the previews. Just jump straight into it. You'll understand pretty quick what it's about.
Agreed.
Let's talk about the actors. You talk about Jamie Foxx, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I actually think for me that they are the highlights of the film for me. I think they do as well as you'd expect them to be in this kind of film. But we're introduced to Dominic Fishback. I actually like her. I think her characterization is very different from a film like this. I just think she's not giving as much to do in terms of the lead role. She's almost kind of just following Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Sadie's, what do you think of her character or the actors in general?
She was a breakout little star in this, and I enjoyed her performance. But I do agree what you said. She is kind of a female supporting these two men, and I kind of wanted to see more of like a triangle apex, all sides leaning on each other. And there were definite moments of that. Let's not glaze over that. There are plenty of girl power moments. She spits hella bars, which is awesome. But like Dave said, she could have been given a little bit more to do. They do a good job of making you fall in love with her and sympathizing with her specific character and situation, wanting to know a little bit more about her. So that when you get to the third act of the film and you are introduced to more characters, you're kind of left with wanting more.
I think part of my problem, again, trying not to spoil, is that the core characters are not brought together for a long time in the film. Like it would take a while before the three come together. And even how they come together, it's just like it's all one of those kind of misunderstanding things. They're just like, okay, hurry up, because we the audience know that they're going to get together and team up. Like that we know going through. That's not a spoiler.
But
and
they
I think
do
it
have
takes
to
too long.
It's the trust aspect, that I think that's what it was. They wanted to build up this level of to show that these characters did grow to trust each other over time, and that's why we can have this whole big
it's only
thing
an hour
at
and
the
a half.
end.
It took us an hour to get that trust. Work with your time, people. Because it's and I think part of also that problem is that there's really, at least in this film, there's no interesting villain. I think that's the other lazy thing the film does. I think a lot of sci-fi does that. They get so focused on the sci-fi, it's like you forget the story where it's like, faceless corporation, bad guy, go. Then it's easy. But I also think based on its concept of you can get any random power, I wanted to see more random powers happening.
Yeah.
I feel like the action
for a sci-fi movie, you want more sci-fi,
right? Like the action was cool. Don't get me wrong, the action is cool visually, and they're very creative. Like when one of the characters uses the fire powers on the invisible person, so the visualization, not just the technical side, the graphics, but just the creativity of how it's visualized. But then for me, it's just like, okay, but lean on that. Show me more. Show me more things that could happen randomly. Show me people dying randomly. And again, this is my questioning. When you go into sci-fi, I always ask the question of, okay, if this is true, if that, then what, right? So it's like they're putting this drug out there that gives people powers. But I felt like the world felt so closed off. Because I feel like the world, if you have a drug that gives people powers, that changes a lot.
Well, it was also the clause there was that it doesn't work for everybody. Some people it just makes you blow up. So it's a
Yeah, you
risk
die.
going into it. You know,
Yes.
if you've
And
never
it-
had it before, there's a chance you might die.
The fault that I think it had was like I feel like only some of the audiences are going to realize like what the main characters are told about the drug, you know, and its whole like main purpose of it being in this one particular area, which to me, like, isn't that the obvious? Like that's obviously what's happening here with this particular pill, especially because they kept it so closed off. Wait, I don't know how to say that without spoiling it.
How would you but I think that's the question, right? How do you keep it closed off? It's not like only ran because like this girl, anybody can get hold of this drug to sell it. So
Exactly.
So that's the thing. It just leaves me asking more questions.
There could have
I'm
been more time
curious.
spent on those themes than the themes that they did want to spend the time on of like the father-daughter relationship, the you know why people deal drugs. Yeah, a lot of it would have been more fun.
I think there's a missed opportunity at really looking at race and in sense of the point of view of, you know, black people, people of color are usually people who are tested on. Yeah, I just think it just comes down to the script because everything. I think the concept is great. The actors are great. The characters are interesting. I just think the script felt rushed. I think the script doesn't hold up to its concept. That's what it is, and that's my frustrations come from that.
You know what it is? I wanted it to be so much better than it actually was. Like, and I like it because I like the concept. So I think that's why I'm like fighting for
That's
it
the
so
thing.
hard. I'm like,
I love the
"Ugh."
concept too. I just don't know it's a film I would be like, ooh, I can't wait to watch that again. Like one,
Yeah,
for me,
it
it's
was
one
just-
and done.
Should have known better though. It seems to be the trend with Netflix. It's always kind of
Right.
like you're always
Right,
let
I was
down.
about to say that like we got spoiled with the old guard, and even the old guard had its
Yeah,
flaws and
even
stuff
then,
like
yeah.
that too. But what were we expect? Like honestly, like it's a Netflix film, so for a Netflix film, out of all of them that I've seen, Project Power for me is up there with like Murder Mystery, and
Yeah, they
it's
got
like
their gems when it comes to movies. They hit great with series. You know,
Series
it's a
fantastic.
7. It's a solid 7.
This
It is a
isn't-
solid 7.
now you turn this into a series. That actually might have something there. You give me more stories like this. Show me more people, more storylines. You might get something there.
I feel like also they
Yes.
try to do too much. You know, Joseph
Why are
Gordon-Levitt, his
you-
narrative, it's its own story. His narrative, you know, the girl is its
Yeah.
own story. Jamie Foxx is its own story, and I don't think those three stories collided naturally. And I think if it was a series, those could be its own episodes, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Again, my frustrations just come from it just has all the pieces there, and just
It's
having
the
recently
theme
watched
of an unmotivated team not explored enough, like an unmotivated teenager, you know, and I think they wanted to show that and make it a non-racial kind of thing, you know, because she was kind of a smart kid, but like I think they wanted it to hit like all age groups and all races, but it just kind of the theme didn't. It wasn't that. Yeah, it was just weird.
Yeah. But that being said, I feel like if you have Netflix, it's worth a watch.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. If it's already
there's
there,
no- just check it. Like,
Yeah.
nothing to lose.
I wouldn't
Like
say
I said,
avoid it.
7 out of 10. 7.
Watch
A
it.
7.
Watch it. I wouldn't watch it. I'd watch a sequel. I don't think I'd watch the same movie again. But yeah, I think for me, having especially just with Lovecraft Country so fresh in my mind and seeing what you can do with unique sci-fi and even Watchmen, right? How Watchmen talks about race.
It's gonna sound bad, but it's like somebody in the production team, like when they pitched this to the studio, was like, let's make Limitless with black people because you know Bradley Cooper, Jamie, like that's what it felt like. Because it's like we have a story about the people. It was so successful, and because they didn't explore any of the topics that they should have in depth, and they just kind of like sprinkled, like, oh yeah, this happens, and that was it.
That one sequence with the I won't go into detail with the cold powers. It was I'm on two minds. One, I thought was really cool because it's all done in one take and the POV shot from inside. But then on the flip side, it's like, but I wanted to see the action scenes because it looked like it was cool. So it's like,
and that was the scene that they're touching upon. Like Jamie Foxx got the power pills, like like he's the killing machine. So he always talks about what he can do, but like we never see it. And that's the one scene that we could have seen, and you didn't. Like, did we run out of money in production for a fight choreo scene?
was gonna hide
I'm not
it
really sure what
behind
happened.
glass. Did the powers, like the heat power and the cold power, does it hurt? Because it seemed like it hurt, but it seemed like it didn't. I wasn't sure.
I think it definitely did, and I think they tried to do that with MGK. That's why he was partially burned.
Because it makes me ask the question, because we never really see it. You know, there's various drugs that you take and people take it. It's like, when you take it, you're like, oh shit, I understand why people take this thing. It's bad, but I can understand the euphoria of it. I felt like it didn't look fun to take this drug. because every time we saw it, it was like a life or death situation.
Yeah.
So it's like,
It's like playing Russian roulette. Why is that fun?
right?
Which
So where's
made
the fun?
exactly.
Like if your life is not threatened right now, what is the fun of this drug that I'm taking it every day?
Yeah, rich
we only
people
saw
don't
it
need
in
this.
Like,
Rich people.
why
Why
do
would
I
a
need
rich
this drug?
person want super strength? Like, what do I have all the money, God's money?
Right.
So you're asking me to take a fun drug
That could kill me and ruin everything that I have.
and for 5 minutes and it's gonna hurt?
Exactly. So it's like, what pleasure do I get from taking this drug? You know, like
Yeah, it does seem more like a thing of like where they should have not like in like you were saying, tested on maybe like soldiers, and then you could create a super army, or vice versa. You know, to do with like a terrorist organization, how to stop that, and then like do you
I
fight
just feel like they tried to play to the black demographic, and it's a little like when you think about
black
it, it's a little
there's a black
it's
lead in there,
disrespect.
so
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's the only reason. Oh, let's make a black limitless because it doesn't make sense. You're gonna market a pill, and then the poor people can't even take it once you successfully like do all your. Because once it's successful and they find all the things things that are wrong with it, then the poor people who you are marketing it to can't even use it anymore, which is what all drugs are in the first place, I guess.
But again, that would actually be an interesting story if you focus on that. It's like, well, now the poor people you experimented on can't take it. They're suffering because of blah, blah, blah. I want to see that story. Anyway, we've gone on too long about this, longer than I expected.
Sorry. That was probably my fault, as per usual.
No, I just like seeing your journey of, no, I love this film too. Yeah, you know, I see the problems with it.
man.
Every time. I was like, it wasn't that bad. I'm like the teen mom of the, like, who's got the oranges. Everybody did a great job at the game. Even look, little Sarah passed the ball. And it's like, no, this.
It's like,
no.
yeah, she passed the ball to the wrong team.
Yeah, and they scored. They scored the own goal. And I'm like, but we have to tell little Sarah that you have to keep trying. That's me.
All right. Anyway, on that note, thank you, Rocket Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mercedes.
You are welcome, my friend.
My name's English Dave, and this has been a Nerdy Bunch review for Project Power, which is currently on Netflix. And as always, Mike.
Keep it nerdy.
Keep it nerdy, guys.